Hey everyone, Darren here, aka Irish Latino Reacts, with another edition, the second edition of 5 questions that have nothing to do with reactions. Now, in the first one, I said this was gonna be a Patreon exclusive segment, but I really did like the reception I got on YouTube, so I don't want to deprive you guys of this segment just yet. So this one will also be on YouTube. Yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the first video. You answered the questions like I wanted as well, and a couple of you gave me a few questions both on YouTube and on Patreon, which will be in these 5 questions. And now these five questions are going to be based heavily on time travel, because someone said, what, if you could go, well, let's just get into it, right? Let's just get into it. Question 1. What is the number one time you would travel to if time travel were real and you could come back? So, first 3 questions are going to be about time travel in different flavors, because I've thought about this a lot, and I can't only answer the question once. But if I had to be pinned on just one, it's kind of morbid, but it probably is a popular one at that. I would go back to Jesus's crucifixion. Yeah, like I said, very morbid. And I posed this question this past weekend. I was camping with my wife and another couple, and both my guy friend there, he said the exact same answer before I said mine. And we were like, oh my God, yeah, definitely. And the two wives were like, oh my God, this is like such a guy answer, kind of the same thing, that trope on the internet that guys think about the Roman Empire once a week. And I'm definitely in that camp. I definitely think about the Roman Empire once a week. But my answer is to see if Jesus Christ, 1, did he really exist? And 2, was he actually crucified? Now, I believe both those things to be true. I do. If you watch my channel, I'm highly interested in religion from a historical standpoint. I'm not a religious person in general in real life, but I do respect it. And having confirmation of Jesus existing and then being crucified would be utterly amazing and utterly mind-blowing, because even though I believe those two things to be true, I don't believe we're ever going to get like empirical proof that occurred. But it is morbid once again. I think there was a Dane Cook back in the day had a joke where he asked someone a similar question, and they were like, oh yeah, I want to go see, what happened to Jesus. And he kind of made a joke. He's like, some guy's just like standing there in the background, and everyone looks over. He's like, oh, hey, don't mind me. I'm just here to see the show. And Dane Cook's like, I don't think you're invited. And I kind of agree. I don't think a time traveler would really be invited to that moment, among others. But regardless, that is my answer. And it is really funny that me and my friend said the same thing. He didn't hesitate when he answered the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Okay. Now, someone else asked this on YouTube, so thanks for that. Or no, this one was on Patreon. The first one was on YouTube. Once again, thank you for the engagement, everyone. Question 2, is there a historic figure you consider most impressive? Now, let's go back about 335 years from Jesus' crucifixion, and we are talking about Alexander the Great. And I don't know if this is another obvious one. Alexander the Great is one of those historical figures that you learn pretty early on, at least in the typical elementary to middle school history curriculum, at least back when I was that young. I don't know how it is now. And then, you never really hear about him much anymore. But I recently, in the past couple of years, or in the past year, got much more interested in him too. There's actually this sleep podcast that I listened to that had an episode on Alexander the Great. And I was just I wasn't sleeping. I was just listening to it, mesmerized, and have relearned a lot about him in the past months. Now, I'm not, so most impressive. Yes, he was a very impressive person, and his feats were very impressive. What he accomplished was very impressive. I'm not saying he was a great guy. He's probably a polarizing figure, as he should be. He wasn't a great guy at all. Um, he, but at the age of 20, a little over 20 or something like that, he conquered basically half of the known world, or most of the known world, over the span of a few years, I want to say, from northern Greece, Macedonia, where he was born, all the way through, modern day Saudi Arabia, and through the old Persian Empire to like northern India. And he wanted to keep going into India, but at that point, a lot of his officers and commanders were like, we're done, we're going back. But only he made this empire that came up and get connected so quickly, and then subsequently it did devolve quickly after his death, because he was a big alcoholic, and he died under weird circumstances. But a lot of people just think like he drank himself to death. But even though the empire was so short-lived, there's still, it did garner a lot of interconnectedness and trade and cultures influencing other cultures from that swath of the world, from Greece to northern India. And he won a lot of great battles really quickly, and he died, maybe he reached 30. I'm not positive. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, died young. So definitely most impressive. And thus, if I were to travel back in time, that'd be a close second. I would just want to kind of be in a room with him, maybe after a battle that he won, with his commanding officers, and just kind of be in the back of the room and like look at him and kind of see what he looks like. I know there are statues of him and whatnot. See if he really looked like those statues, and see his mannerisms. I think that'd be so utterly interesting. But yeah, that's my answer there. Alexander the Great. Now, another time travel question. Okay, let me just ask it. What 20th century decade would you want to travel to if time travel, once again, were real and you could come back? Now, when I asked the question, generally speaking, where me and my friend said the crucifixion of Jesus, both of the wives locked in on the 60s, specifically Woodstock. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, you want to go back to that specific point where, Jesus' crucifixion was a specific point in time as well. Now, as far as Woodstock goes, I guess I have a few things to say before I give my answer. I think I'm a huge music guy, and I like going to concerts. I don't know how interested I would be to experience Woodstock. It was hot, it was muddy, it was dirty, and I think, it's been romanticized a lot after the fact, of course, because of Jimmy and his death, and then so many other great artists were there. But I can find videos and audios of that time here and now, so I don't feel like I'm fully missing out, and I don't feel like I need to go back there. So, once again I give my answer, if the question was, what decade would you want to go back to, and you had to stay there, then yeah, it'd be the 60s. It'd definitely be the 60s, because I'm a huge Beatles fan. So I'd probably start, they came over 63, probably start 64. No, they came over 64, sorry. But, to my answer finally, it would be the 1920s. The roaring 20s. I mean, I think that'd be so cool to experience and be able to come back. Prohibition, I'd totally be one of those people down in one of these seedy speakeasies, drinking that illegal liquor, and it just like the vibe, and I feel like there'd be an electricity in the air, buildings getting taller. Roaring 20s would be my answer of what decade I would visit in the 20th century, if I just to experience. Of course, getting out of there before the stock market crashed in 1929. Okay, done with the time traveling questions. This fourth question I came up with myself. What is your favorite tree? So, mine easily is weeping willow. Now, there was a park by me growing up in Rhode Island that had a weeping willow, and I always thought it was so beautiful. I'd hang out there plenty in my childhood growing up, and it was the only one around, which was maybe odd. I don't know. Like, for me, liking that tree so much, I don't really know much about it. I haven't done research as far as this question is concerned. There's just something, you know, melancholy about a willow tree. You know, it's weeping, so, you know, that's melancholy in and of itself. But I also feel like there is, you know, peace in it. You're kind of covered by all of the weeping willows, and then you have the weeping willow character in Pocahontas, which is one of my favorite Disney movies, probably my favorite from like the golden age of the 90s Disney movies. And, you know, that weeping willow character was a grandmother figure, and it was very loving and very uplifting and upbeat. So yeah, I like that a lot, and that's my answer, more or less. I don't think we have any weeping willows out here in Colorado, unfortunately. Oh, Frankie's barking. Someone just shut a door somewhere, so of course he has to bark. Apologize for that. Question number 5, final question. What is, in your opinion, the most overrated food? And mine is salmon. Now, I'm from Rhode Island, the ocean state. I love seafood, and might be a surprise to people that there is still very good seafood out here in Denver as well, because, you know, things get shipped so quick these days that, like, even if you're eating an oyster over here, for example, it got shipped the day before, you know. So the thought of like needing to be on the coast for good seafood is something I feel that has become less true and less true. So preferencing that with I love seafood, salmon is a little too fishy for me. I typically like you know, cod or haddock. Love swordfish, and but I feel like salmon is so overrepresented on menus. If you go to a restaurant that's continental, a little more eclectic, where it's not just seafood, but it has a seafood section, typically one of those few dishes is gonna be a salmon dish. Or and if you go to a steakhouse, which I never do, because like I don't enjoy, I don't like steak too much. They'll have like one fish dish, one seafood dish for that person who comes with a bunch of friends who want to eat steak, but he's like, I don't want it, so like, okay, here's a fish for you. Typically it's going to be salmon. So yeah, that's my answer there. I think salmon is quite overrated. All right, everyone, that is the second edition of 5 questions that have nothing to do with reactions. It's gotten a lot darker since the beginning of the video. But yeah, I hope you guys had fun with that, and I'm looking forward to seeing your answering of the questions down below. And once again, give me more questions. I feel like I need more from you, and try to be creative. They can be anything. Ask me about my life. It's fine. If I think it's too personal, I just won't choose it. That's all right. Ask whatever you want. All right, everyone. I love y'all, and I will catch you all later. Bye-bye.